Okay, guys, this is for the people that don't know how. What I'm doing here is making a scissor prop. And this goes with the prop that I'm making, as I was making it, I'm like, oh shit, maybe somebody'd like to know how to do it. But what I did was started off with a piece of bar like this, and I measured it 10 inches. Okay, now it all depends on how far you want your scissor prop to go out and what kind of cylinder you have pushing it. So what I did was, I'm not going to sit here and show you how I do every one. I'm just going to give you an example, and you just can go from there. So what I have is a 10-inch piece right here. Okay. So I mark it an inch in, and then in the center. Now I use this bar right here as my template. And what I do is, now you can't take a little screw and start your template because you might not line up right. So what you do is you take the size of the hole that you want, and then you start to drill and make a little mark. You start to drill in, and then just a little bit just to make an indent, and then you go through with the smaller one and go through each one. And then once you go through each one, then you have a nice guide for the bigger bit. You can try using the bigger bit, but it's just harder to go through like that. So what I have here is, I have my template, and I have 3 of these underneath it. And I'm going to drill through them all, and this is what I'm going to come up with, and I'm going to keep doing the same thing until it's all done. Okay, a lot of people have drill presses and other things, but this is for the people that don't have none of that, and they got just a damn vise. So, like I said, you start off with these, stack it like 2 or 3 underneath your template, pre-drill with the big one, just a little bit, just to get your center point, go through with the small one, and then come back and hit the big one. And that way they're all the same. And then you take the template, and you use that, and you keep doing it until you have all your parts. And like I said, it all depends on how far you want your scissor prop to go out, is how many of these bars you're going to make. Okay, here's all my pieces right here I got lined up, and I put the screws in there because you want to go like this. This is just what I do. See how freely these move? You know what I mean? See, what you want to make sure is that all the holes line up, and these screws don't have anything to do with this mechanism, the scissor prop. It just tells me that I lined my holes up right. Because if you don't line up your holes right, then you're going to have a problem with not running as smooth as you want it to. So after you're done cutting all your pieces, just pop some screws in there, and just make sure it's nice and free. That'll let you know that you lined your holes up right. And it doesn't matter if you have, see how some of them are not a little longer than others, on the side. It don't matter. What matters is that you got your holes lined up properly. If you're a little off, that's no big deal at all. Okay, and basically to put it together, you just need a screw, use a washer, like that. You need the washer in the middle so it'll glide nice and easy. And I always like using one of these lock nuts so it don't come unthreaded. That's you can use whatever you want, but that's, I found, doesn't come apart as easy. And I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do this to like 4 or 5 of them, and then show you how to put the rest of it together. Okay, just another update. Like I told you to put these together, like this, and get another one like that. And I can't stress enough to tell you to make sure all your holes are perfectly in the same spot so you don't get any binding. And so what you have to do is you get 2 sets, and just because this overlaps over this one, that there's a certain way you got to put it on. So apparently you have to make sure that this one's over and this one's under. I mean, you'll figure it out. You'll see what I'm saying when you try to put it together. One's got to go in there, one's got to over. You put your screws in, and then you end up with this. And that, my friend, is the start of a scissor prop. And one other thing that always helped me out is the reason why I use the lock nuts and what I can do is tighten it down to where it's loose and I can move it freely with no slop in it. You know what I'm saying? You'll grab, you just grab it, wiggle it. You really don't want slop in it because, that just creates a poor movement, and, you want to keep it nice and tight, but then you still want to move freely. That way that your cylinder doesn't have to go through any extra stress. You know what I'm saying? You want it to move freely, and with the lock nuts, you have that option to tighten them up as much as you want, and then you could tweak it back, a little bit if you wanted to. If you use lock washers and all that, you have to lock your lock washer down, and then you have to put nylon in the middle. But with the nylon nuts here, you don't have to worry about that. You can get it as tight as you want, make it move as free as you want, no slop, and that's the way you do it. And I hope I'm not rambling too much, but that's it. And I'll show you when I get the rest of it all together. Okay, here they are all together, and this is a scissor prop. Hello. And that's how it works. And I think I'm going to put one more set because I want it to go out a little farther. But it's really not that hard. And I'm going to do the rest of it. I'll keep updating you as I go.